The key here to getting this sort of system to work is you have to have records for the categories that you want to work with. You can't use the values that are inside the child records themselves. It doesn't work that way. Just by the nature of how automation works and how AppSheet works and how it processes records and like the way that works, you can't get a group without something for the system to work on. Do you know what I mean? Now, you could probably hack this because, you know.
Where are you going?
Another way. Always another way.
Could resist. You know what I mean? So you could probably hack this and make it work, but you know, I prefer to try and do things in a more standard way that's scalable, that's going to work. Okay, the only thing that I need to do is I need to wrap this start inside of another one. So this is when you start getting into nested start expressions. Boy, this is where it gets really thick, really fast. But I'll just high level tell you, you can do some amazing things with nested expressions like this. You have the ability to, at whatever level you're on, you can say, I'm on level 4, right? I'm 4 levels down. And you can say, give me a value from the 3rd level and from the 2nd and from the 1st. And like you can get a value from each. You can get any values from all of these different levels. So the level of complexity that you can do for like layering things and like, oh, but only if we're doing that and only if layer 2 is this and layer 1 has that in this column and this has that over there in that column. Like, yeah, you can get crazy like that. Greetings, salutations, and all good things in between. What's up, everyone? Matt here. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I've been in the AppSheet game since 2016, and one of my focuses is on educating individuals on how to become a ninja with the AppSheet platform. I upload videos every Tuesday, and I live stream every Friday at 10 a.m. Central. I hope to see you there. Now make sure you stick to the end of this video because I get all kinds of fancy and I'll show you how you can create an individual totals line for each subgroup that's included. All right, now enough of that. Let's get to the video. All right, so let's say you've got some collection of data and you're generating a PDF, but part of that data is you've got child records, and maybe those child records, there's some higher level grouping that sits above the child records. And when you print the PDF, you want all of the records to be sorted into the individual groups. How do you do something like that? You need to include a secondary table for whatever categories you're talking about, because then the categories become records inside the system. And then now that it's got these records, it's got a thing that it can work with. That's the key. It needs a thing to work with. Automation, when it's trying to make the category, it needs a thing that it can work with. And that thing is a record inside of a table. So I've got my reports sample app here, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do what I attempted to do before. And I'm going to make this a grouped thingamajig. So when I print this report, instead of just listing everything, right, I want to group these things based on what's going on. Okay, so let's first do a little high-level information to get everybody familiar with what the scenario is, right? So I've got a list of users, I've got a list of construction job entries, and I have reports. So the point of the report is, what I want to do is I want to select multiple different kinds of job types that I've done, and then maybe build or unbuild or whatever. I can filter by a date, right? And then this gives me a list of however many records. In this case, I have 42. Now, the idea then is that instead of just viewing everything in one massive list, I want to be able to say like drilled shafts and then all the things, and then something else and all the things. You get what I mean? So like if I create a new record here and I have like these first 4 and I just save that, and we look at it, right? Instead of this, because this is how it would print currently, just like this, just whoop, whatever. All right, so what I'd really want to do is I want to group this by the type. Get what I mean? So that when I'm looking at my report, I have this nice grouped view, right? So, okay, I got it now in the view. How do I do it inside the report? So, first thing I need to do, right? The key that I said in the beginning here is you need to have things for the system to work with. I need a new table, 100% new table. So, go here. I'm going to open up my data source. What's up, Luis, Cage, Graham, Light? Welcome, everybody. First thing we need is a list of the construction types, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to copy this whole column, make a new table, and we'll say something like job types, right? All right. And I'm going to put my list here. Now, I should be able to, if I highlight this way, so maybe you're unaware of this, but Google Sheets has a lot of really good tools and things for cleaning up your data inside here. So if you go to data, there's this data cleanup. Like, they have this remove duplicates thing. Oh man, like, I cannot tell you how amazing that is that they've put that in as a standard thing. So, right, it kept the blank. We'll get rid of the blank, but like, there we go. I now have, if I sort these, I now have 1 for 1 for each of the items that was inside that giant table. So now I've got my list of things that the system needs in order to process. Do you know what I mean? All I've got to do now is add this to my app. Now here's a helpful tip. You see this? So I added that table, but it's not catching it. All right. So if you ever find yourself in this situation where you're trying to add a new table to your app, but it's not finding it, like, you can sit here and hit the refresh page over and over and over again. It's probably not going to find it. The thing you have to do here is, when you're in this instance, you got to like go find the data source again, and then you can add it again. Here's a helpful hint. So the thing that you can do to avoid this so that this doesn't happen, for whatever reason, if you leave an empty sheet inside the data source for your app, for whatever reason, that causes the AppSheet system here to like keep looking for new tables. You know what I mean? This is what it feels like, like, oh, there's still something there. They're still working on it. And then when you use all of them, it's like the system's like, okay, we're done with that file. There's nothing left, even though I've just added something. So if you leave an empty sheet at the very far end, then you don't run into this problem. Because like now, in order for me to solve this, I'm going to have to go into here, find my Google Sheet, and like, all right, I'm just going to look for the name of the construction job entries. Yep, see, there it is. Found it. And yeah, here we go. So now I can find it that way. If you leave a blank sheet inside your source, you don't have to do that for whatever reason. Helpful hint. Now I have my list of job types, right? Booyah. So the thing that I need to do now is, let's see. There's a few ways I could come into here and I could change this now to a reference to the job types. And by doing that, what it would give me the ability to do is I could then go, if I made a view of my job types, and like, I'll put that in the menu. All right. Now that I've got this, I can click on it and see just those records by themselves. Now we've got the reference table that we need that gives us the things that we need to work with. We've got our primary data things that we're working with. Now we've got this report table. Like, the report table is where we're actually building the query that we're doing, right? This is where we say these job types between these dates, this, right? And then at the end of that, we have a list of all of the items that we're going to eventually put onto this PDF. All right, the thing we need to do now is we need to add in another list, another finalized list column that is a list of all of the categories that are inside this list of items. This is really easy because all we got to do is list dereference all of the types out of the child records and just uniqueify the list. Done. Let me show you how to do it real quick. So what we're talking about here is adding a column to my to my reports table, where I've got this column up here that is the report output list. That is the list of all of the actual child records that will go onto the file. So it's out of this list that we need to dereference what is the type. And so I'm going to call this report job type output list. Okay, wait for it to save. Cool. Come back here, regenerate to grab my new column. Oh yeah. Now, I regenerated the wrong table. Whoops. You ever do that? Man. You know, back in the day, if you would have done that, that would have caused mass problems. Because, like, that regenerate thing, you think, if you're from back in the day, oh man, comment in the comments if you've ever been down that road in the early days. Woo, it was bad. Okay, I've got my reports. Here we go. My report job type output, right? So what do I need to do? I need to change this to an enum list with a base type reference to the job types table, right? Where it has an app formula of, so we come down here and find my output list, insert that, and now I need to do a list dereference. So what am I looking for? This is a list of the construction job entries records down here. And so I'm looking for what is the construction types inside all of those records. So I'm just going to copy the name of this column, come here, and put it just like that. That's the list dereference. There's no dot, right? And so now that will give me a list of, if I show you what this looks like, if I leave it like this, I'm going to have a whole bunch of duplicates because it's literally every value from the list. So, you know, just like here, there's two masonries, there'd be two masonries, right? See, like, look at this. It's all drilled shafts for this one. So, and then this one over here, right? There's all these duplicates. So I need to wrap this list dereference in unique. And then I might also wrap it in a sort so that they're in alphabetical order. Now, if I go look at this one, the drilled shafts, instead of having a whole bunch, is just one. And then this other list down here, it's now a single value for each one, and they are in order. Happy days. This now gives me my derivative list that I need of all of the categories that we need to print onto our PDF, right? And so all I need to do here is save this so it propagates. And then we can go and we can start modifying. Go to our automation. We've got this report where we make the report, right? We've got our template file here. All right. Now we get into the meat and potatoes. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, the idea here, right, is I have this start expression where if I pull this out of here, I'm gonna make sure I keep everything together. Okay, if I pull that out, we can see this is literally just printing the output display, right? Okay, the only thing that I need to do is I need to wrap this start inside of another one. So this is when you start getting into nested start expressions. Boy, this is where it gets really thick, really fast. But I'll just high level tell you, you can do some amazing things with nested expressions like this. You have the ability to, at whatever level you're on, you can say, I'm on level 4. right? I'm 4 levels down, and you can say, give me a value from the 3rd level and from the 2nd and from the 1st. And like you can get a value from each, you can get any values from all of these different levels. So the level of complexity that you can do for like layering things and like, oh, but only if we're doing that and only if layer 2 is this and layer 1 has that in this column and this has that over there in that column. Like, yeah, you can get crazy like that. So starting it first off though, right? What do we need to do? What I want to do is, so if I just like create a base outlook of like what I want this to look like, right? So this is going to be a table. And what I really want is I want like a label here at the very top, you know what I mean? Above the group for whatever the group is. Just trying to get some little, there we go. I want a label like that. And maybe I'll add a space after the paragraph. Right? So then the idea is each time this report prints a category, this whole little section will be repeated, right? I'll have a label. There'll be a header bar that says date, cost, billing, hours the whole table will be copied for each category. Okay. That means that what I'm really doing, if I put this back where it belongs, okay, that means what I'm really doing is I'm starting a start expression up here above before this label. This is the first of the layers, right? So I say start, and just like I did down here, where I'm just doing the one column, I'm just doing the one column. If I go back to my reports table, I have this job type output, right? All I'm doing is printing that list. So if I come here, just like that. And it's already in alphabetical order. It's already unique. Boom. So this starts it. And then I'm going to move this label up here, just like that. So this is the start. And then I want it to print this table to do this. I have to modify that. And then down here, I want it to end the start expression. All right. Now, what do we do to this middle thing, right? That's where all the complication comes in. So if I just grab this, I guess I didn't need to move it yet. All right. The thing I need to do now is I got to change this report output display so that it knows, so that this start expression is paying attention to the group that we started in the first start expression. This is where this row -1 comes into play, because the report back here is like level 0, right? And then I said, cool, start this. And so that took me to level 1. And then I'm saying start this, and this kind of takes me to like level 2, right? And so from level 2, I'm saying, cool, go back 1 and give me, what is the type that we're doing over here? All right. So let's take our start expression and let's spread it out so we have some room to work, right? All right. So here's the start of the start expression. Here's the end of the start expression. And it's really this middle bit that I need to change. Right now, this is showing everything. All right, I got to change this to a select statement. And where I'm saying is select for me all of the, and this is where we just kind of go brute force. Select for me all of the job entries. Go back here. The job entry ID. Oops. Yep, there. Where and, okay, because there's two things that we need to confirm. First, that the ID of the thing that we're trying to print is inside this list here. So it's, first off, it's part of what we're printing, right? So in paste, port output display. What happened? Background music went weird. Got really quiet all of a sudden. So is the time log ID that we're trying to select from the construction job entries, is that inside the report output display? Okay, that's part number one first. Also then is the type. So we can come in here, we can grab the type column name. Also is the construction type equal to this row minus 1 dot, and then now this is where I'm on this construction type table. So now I got to go get, or the job types here, and get the name of the column here that I'm trying to match it to. All right. Hopefully this works, because I feel like this is how far I got last time, and this row minus 1 thing didn't work. We shall see. Okay, the thing I need to do, yep, up here in the first branch of this in statement, I just can't leave it like that. I need to say this row. I think that's where I ran into the problem, is that when I tried to do this row thing, it didn't work. And I believe the solution was to throw in the number. Like, just to, instead of telling it to try and go back to this row, which should take it all the way back to the root, I just do it like this row minus 2. We'll see if it works though, but I believe that was the problem that I ran into last time. Okay, so close the and, close the select. Now let's look at this and see what is this thing doing. So I'm saying select for me all the job entries IDs where the time log is inside this row's report output display, and where the construction type is equal to this row minus 1 construction type, because I started printing a construction type here, right? That's the idea. Let's see if it works, shall we? So if I bring this up here, and then this whole little needs to go there. All right, and then we can bring this up here. All right, let's see if the system will take this or not. So if I come back to automation, right? So I've been messing with this create a file thing. So in order to get the system to check the file that I've just been messing with, you can't just do a regular save. You have to do what I call a deep save. Click the little drop down next to the save button and do this save and verify. Hey everyone, Matt here from the future. All right, after I did that save, it came back with an error because I left line breaks inside my start expression. You can't do that. Make sure you get rid of your line breaks, aka a new line, out of your start expression before you actually use it. All right, now I'm gonna skip past all of that troubleshooting and debugging. If you wanna see that, I have an extended cut of this video available for my Patreon supporters. You can head on over to patreon.com/multitech. It's $10 a month. Not only do you have access to extended cut videos, but I also have a private Google Drive folder full of a bunch of goodies. Head on over there and check it out. All right, now we're gonna jump forward to the point where we're looking at the produced PDF and the grouping that's going on. All right. If we look at this file, it was just updated. Okay, all right, yeah. And you know what we could do to confirm that these are all the right types? Like, I could just throw another column here and print the type too. You know what I mean? We can literally see that everything inside here is going to be just the same. Everything inside the types is going to be the same type. Okay, I'll do that real quick so you can see what that file looks like. So this is what it looks like now, and when this updates, we should have a list. So like this should say asphalt paving all the way down, right? Okay, that's done. Come back here, right? Asphalt paving all the way down. Casework all the way down. Construction clean and final clean all the way down, right? So that formula is totally working. Here is our final report. So obviously, you know, I'll clean up the top part over here, right? But yeah, here we go. The thing I might do now is, I want to put these in order, right? Yeah, so I'm going to do some last little bits here. But you can see we've got this going. The thing I want to do now, right? I want to order these based on build and unbuild, and then by date. All right, so what do? Go back to my thing. Now I'm really just back into like normal AppSheet formula land. If you think about it in that way, right? I have this select statement, and I just need to like modify the select statement. Like all the stuff in the middle is complex and everything. Yeah, sure. But I just need to order this with an order by, then go to the end of the select statement. And I need to order it by some column based on false, and then by another column, and then close my order by. Okay. First thing I'm ordering these things by are the construction time entries build or unbuild. Okay. So that's the first placeholder, false. And then I want to do them by timestamp, the date. Yes. So if I put this back here, go back here to my automation, and let's check the file and make sure that the changes that I just did don't cause a break. Okay, we're at a green state. Cool. I'll come back to my report and update it. We can see what this looks like now. So these things should now be sorted by build and unbuild, build being first, and then by date. Do you think? All right. Build, unbuild. And in the build, January, yep, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. Don't you like it when things work? All right, the last thing that I'm going to do for this thing is, now that I've got everything where it's printing the groups and then all the appropriate items, I want to do some fancy stuff. And I want to put down at the bottom, at like it's like the last row of these little subtables, I want a total. How do we do that? We're getting crazy now. Let's do it. All right. So the idea here, right, is I've got this select statement here. And this select statement is limiting the rows that are being printed inside each category, right? And so really what I want to do is I want to basically run that select statement again, but instead of looking for the IDs of the records that I'm trying to filter, instead I want the hour column, right? And so then that select statement gets me all of the hour values that would have been printed in that list, and it makes a list of those. Hop, skip, and a jump. All I got to do is wrap that in a sum, and we're done. Yeah. Okay, so back here to my template, add in a row below where this start and end. So the start and the end is all in the first row, and then I've got a second row. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give this totals, right? And like I'm going to make this bold. I'm going to move this all the way onto the right. Yeah. And so now what I need to do then is like I want a total here. I want a total here, right? So here's what you do. Come up here, grab your little start expression, just the start part, not the whole thing, right? And come down here and put it inside here. Okay, what you got to do now is you need to get rid of the start part, okay, so that you're just the select statement. I guess you could have just copied that part. Now, you can get rid of the order by, because we don't need to order these by whatever's going on, right? We just need the root select by itself. Okay, so that's this part. Now, inside the select statement, what you're selecting is that first part that's in square brackets. So this is the time log ID. I just need to change that to the column that I'm trying to sum. So if I just come up here and copy this, come down here and paste that. So now this select statement will create the list of all of these corresponding records that have been printed in this group. I just need to wrap this in a sum. Come down here and close it. All right, let's see if this works, right? Come back here, come to the thing, make some kind of arbitrary change so I can do a save and verify. Looking for a green state. Hey, we got a green state. Oh, don't you like it when things work? All right. So now this is going to give me the total of all of my hours for this category. Oh, copy this, paste it. Oops. There we go. Maybe. Paste it in here and just change the column. So like up here, copy that, come in here to the start, find the first square bracket bit. That's it. That's all it takes. Well, maybe I'll make these bold. There you go. We're done. Let's run this and see what this looks like. Oh, don't you like it when things work? Oh, I like it when things work. All right. We come back here and we look at our report. We have our asphalt stuff. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yep. And we have our totals. Hey. Now, I've got a challenge for everybody that's been watching this now. All right. The thing that I challenge you to do next is to take this subgroup, right? And if there are billed and unbilled records being printed, how can you print the unbilled and then put a total row and then print the billed and have a total row? Challenge. All right, that is how you can create a nested select statement to create a grouped PDF with the happy bonus of a totals line at the very bottom. All right, there's a lot going on in this video. I want to thank you for watching, sticking around this long. I do appreciate it. There's obviously a lot of things that people could have questions about. So if you have a question, drop it in the comments below, but put a timestamp in with it so I know what it is you're referring to, right? And then check in that Friday at 10 a.m. Central because I'll be doing a live stream and I'll probably answer that question live. And if you want further information during the chat segment, you can get it. All right? All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the community.